Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Shri Chinmaya Yatishasya Gurum Vande Tapovanam Tam Himavad Vibhutim Vai Jnana Vairagya Rupinam Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. My humble pranams to all of you. So today we are doing the last three mantras of this beautiful Upanishad. And then next week, I'll spend about 45 minutes summarizing the verse by verse this Upanishad and give like a overall bird's eye view. So we'll in next this week and next week we'll finish this Upanishad. So I won't go much into the summary because that we'll be doing next week. But basically, this Upanishad takes us to the highest goal, the highest path, that is seeing the one Isha everywhere. And if you cannot do that, do the path of service. And then other descriptions of this Isha were given. And then the Rishi also tells us, Yajnavalkya Rishiji, that all paths should be followed together, the path of service, the path of bhakti, and the path of knowledge. And together, they will lead you to the highest. If you follow only one, then you will end in ignorance. Not that you will end up in some sorrowful situation, but you won't progress. If you need to progress, you have to progress fully. Last week, we spent a lot of time doing this famous mantra, 15th mantra, Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Pihitam Mukham Tatvam Pushana Pavranu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. So the student tells this prayer is to Surya Bhagwan, the Lord of Sun, and he's asking for the blessings, the grace of the Lord, who is the supreme consciousness appearing in the form of the sun. And the sun is the nourisher, and it is Tattvam Pushana. You are the nourisher. It is because of the sun that whatever we can do on this earth, life is only possible because of the sun's blessings. And he says that I am not able to see you, O Lord, because of my ignorance, because my vision is covered by this golden part, this golden disc, and the lid. Only you can uncover it. And we had talked about what are all the ignorance. The ignorance can be that I am this body, and this body identification blocks where I spend time taking care of the body and I don't have time for spirituality. Other ignorance can be the ego, that I am somebody special. I don't need God. Which God? What God? Whose God? And that is another ignorance. The other ignorance can be of Maya, this power of Maya, which creates this avarana and then vikshepa. We have talked about that. Another avarana can be the world of matter, where I give so much importance to the world of matter, I don't have time to turn my mind towards the higher. And then, of course, golden means also the material wealth. So these are the things that obstruct my view. And only I can put my effort. And that's what he says, Satya Dharmaya Drishtaya. I have put my maximum effort. We cannot say, oh, I need enlightenment and then sit and do nothing. I have to do my part. That's why the Rishi says, do karma yoga, do service, do bhakti, do jnanam. Then all this sadhan chatushtaya, I must have viveka, vairagya, I must have the right knowledge, I must detach, I must have shama, dhamma, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhan. All of you know that. But I must control my mind, I must control my senses, I must detach from the world and hold on to the Lord with shraddha and complete abidance in that is the Shat Sampatti. And then the most important is Mumukshutvam, an intense desire for liberation. So when one has all this, then you can, as Guru said, Dev says, loving authority. You can say, oh, Surya, reveal yourself to me, remove this veil of ignorance, because I have done my part. Satya Dharmaya, I have put the maximum effort. And the point is, whenever you start, as long as it has to be a continuous process, you cannot only 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, but a continuous abidance in this truth, in this knowledge, and through various means. You can do japa, you can do puja, you can do chanting, you can do whatever methods work for you, some amount of service. And then swadhyaya bhyanam na pramaditavyam. So do not give up your daily study. That's what we heard in Taittiriya Upanishad. So that's what is said. Once a student has done that, then the student is ready and he's requesting the Surya Bhagwan to take him higher. And now today we will see how that prayer continues and what one should do in meditation. I'll talk a little bit about that. So we'll do mantra number 16. Sharad, you want to chant? It's not actually chanting, it's mostly prose.
Yes, correct.
Pushanne karshe.
Pushanye karshe.
Yamasurya prajapatya.
Yamasurya prajapatya.
Vyuharashmin.
Vyuharashmin.
Samuha tejaha.
Samoha tejaha.
Yatte rupam kalyanatamam.
Yatte rupam kalyanatamam.
Tatte pashyami.
Tatte pashyami.
Yosavasau purushaha.
Yosavasau purushaha.
Sohamasmi.
Sohamasmi.
Okay, all together. Pushanne karshe. Yamasurya prajapatya. Vyuharashmin. Samuha tejaha. Yatte rupam kalyanatamam. Tatte pashyami. Yosavasau purushaha. Sohamasmi. Most beautiful prayer. It complements what we did last week. So again, this prayer is to the sun god, Pushan. Pushan means the nourisher, one who gives us everything. Pushan. Pushan means the nourisher. Ekarshe has two meanings. One meaning is Ekarshe means one who travels alone. And as we know, the sun is the only, light for us, and it travels alone, that it does not have any companion. Ekarshe also means Eka Rishi. That is another meaning some people have used. And it is the eighth case, it's a Sambodhana. Ekarshe means one who is the knower. Rishi means not somebody necessarily who sits in meditation under the tree, but Rishi means one who is the knower, the seer of the Vedas, of the Upanishads. So Bhagwan, Surya Bhagwan, you are traveling alone and you are all knowing. And you are Yama. Yama means the controller. You control everything, and we'll talk about that. Oh Surya, you are Prajapatya, means you are son of Prajapati, means you are Prajapati himself. You are the creator. Not only you are the creator, but you are the sustainer of this entire universe. Prajapatya. And he says, Vyuha Rashmin. Rashmin means your rays. Please disperse them, because the rays are so strong. And Samuha Tejaha, and collect all your brilliance. Why do you want the sun to disperse the rays and collect his brilliance, not be bright? Because he says, Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam. Yat, this form of yours, Te Rupam, which is the most auspicious form, Tatte Pashyami, I would like to see that, but your light is so strong that I'm not able to, because when the sun is in the full, in the afternoon, in the summer in Bakersfield, you can't even stand out there, forget about looking at the sun. So he says, I cannot look at you. Please disperse your rays and take away your heat so that I may see this most auspicious form of the sun. And this auspicious form of the sun, who is the Prajapati himself, he says, Yaha is what? Asau, asau. Asau, asau means this and that, everything you are. Asau is a very interesting word in Sanskrit. It means this and that. So whatever I see this universe and whatever that may be in all the worlds, everything you are, oh Lord. And you are the Purushaha, you are the supreme being, Soham Asmi, and that I am. So this is the highest Vedantic truth, where it combines Upasana plus Jnanam. See, one is Upasana, worship the Lord, and then ultimately the knowledge that and I are one. So let us see this very beautiful mantra. So as we said, Ekarshe, it is the nourisher who travels alone, who is the Niyanta, who is the controller, which is called Yama. That's why in Vishnu Sahasranam also it says Niyanta Niyamo Yamaha. So he is the controller. Yama, controller, means in many ways. One is all our life is nourished by the sun, so it controls everything, the growth of the plants, the trees, the rain, the weather, everything it controls. It controls day and night. When the sun sets, day ends, and when the sun rises. So it is a controller of time. It is the earth revolves around it. So in every way, the sun is the Lord of this universe and also Lord of our heart. Gurudev in his commentary says that the sun is like the Atman, the consciousness that controls us, that nourishes us, and whatever we are able to do is because of the presence of this consciousness. So it is the Lord, it is the controller, it is the boss. And this reminds me, this 5 or 6 year old girl asks her mom, she says, Mom, who is the boss in this house? You or dad? She says, don't say that. Dad and I are both equal in charge of this house. She says, you are both equal? She says, yeah. And I decided that many years ago. So here he is the deciding factor. He is the Yama and he is the Surya. He is the God, sun. And we already talked about Prajapatya. the Prajapati himself has manifested in this Surya, and he says, Vyuha Rashmin, reduce your rays so that I may see you. And now we'll talk a little bit about the this glorious form. So why is the sun being worshipped? Because as Gurudev says in his commentary, Yajnavalkya Rishi, who was the seer who revealed this Upanishad to us, was a sun worshipper. And this appears in the Samhita portion of the Shukla Yajur Veda. Why does it appear in the Samhita? Samhita is the mantra portion, and all the Upanishads appear in the Vedanta. Why is this particular Upanishad put in the mantra portion? In the introduction a few weeks back, I had mentioned it, that there may be a brahmachari who is chanting the mantras, because that is to be chanted by the brahmacharis, the first portion of the Upanishad. But somehow, if he comes across this Kaivalya Upanishad and it really hits him, he can directly go to sannyas. So this directly from, that's why a lot of our Swamijis in the Chinmaya mission from Brahmachari ashram, they go to the 2-year course and directly take sannyas. So Isavasya Upanishad is meant for such seekers, and for it's beneficial to all. So we saw its glorious form and this great beauty. And how do I approach God? How do I approach God? And what is the process of meditation? So we see in this that there is an approach of humility, surrender, and patience. It's not a demand, it is a humble request. Yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami. You are this and you are that. And there is an intense longing. It's not a half-hearted, theek hai, mil gaya to theek hai, nahi mila to we'll see in the next life. Nothing like that. I want it here now itself. Why? Because this Maya is very strong, and only the Surya, the power of the Surya, of this knowledge can remove this. We had seen last week, Devi Hesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mameva Ye Prapadyante, Maya Metam Tarantite. So there is a very beautiful story that I had heard which connects with this mantra. So how one should approach God and what should be our attitude in meditation. So it is said there was a young man and a young woman, and the man really loved the girl and he wanted to be with her. He wanted to marry her. He wanted, her for a life partner. And she liked him too. So one day he goes to her house and knocks loudly on the door. Bang, bang, bang. So she says, who is it? So he says, it is me. I am here. I am your beloved. I'm here. Open the door so I can be with you. She doesn't open the door. So he keeps banging and she doesn't open. So he says, something wrong. Koi galti ho gayi. Something I haven't done correctly. So he leaves and he wanders through the desert for 2, 3, 4 years. And he realizes that his attitude was wrong, to demand. So he goes and after 2, 3 years, softly knocks on the doors, very softly. She says, who is it? So he says, it is me. I am your humble servant. Please open the door. I wish to be with you. Very gently, very softly, very humbly, he asks. She says, it's better, but not good enough. See, she's hard to please. It's not good enough. So he says, what more can I do? So again, he wanders through the desert for 2, 3, 4 years, thinking, what can I do better? And then he finally comes and he barely knocks. You can barely hear the knock. And she says, who is it? And he doesn't say anything. She says, who is it? And he's just silently waiting in patience. And as the story goes, the door opens. and she embraces him and they become one. But this has a very beautiful lesson for meditation. I had heard this story many years ago, but the more you think about this story, the more it makes sense. So what happens is that when I'm sitting in front of God in meditation, my first attitude is of arrogance. I am the greatest bhakta. There is nobody like me. I have come to God. I have donated. I have done this. I have done that. I have built temple. I have built, hospital. So we go with arrogance towards God, with ego. And, that's not the way. God says, ye nahi chalega. You can't have arrogance and ego if you want to approach me. So then the bhakta says, maybe I was too arrogant. I should become more humble. So you say, I am a humble servant of the God, Daso Asmi. Krishnasya Daso Meham, in that Sanskrit also we are studying sixth case. So he says, I am a humble servant of God. I am nobody. I am no arrogance, humility. That is better, but there is still duality, right? I am God. I am a humble servant. And God is somebody all powerful, which is good, which is better than the first. But in the third case, when a seeker approaches the Lord in meditation with not even the desire to reach God, see, even the desire to reach God is also a desire. So there is no desire, but he has this longing that I want to reach God, but there is no, and his mind is very silent. It is silence. It is not a talking. It is not. So when the mind becomes silent in meditation, and even that final desire to know God, reach God, that desire also disappears. There is no, then what does the seeker realize? There never was a door. Actually, there never was a door. There is no gap between us and God. It is our wrong understanding that God is somehow different from us. So in meditation, this veil of ignorance, which is of my own creation, these vasanas, this ignorance is my creation. God is always available for us. She was always there. He just did not realize that the door was always open. So that is what they say, that when you understand that Brahman and I are not separate, then God is always available for us. She was always available. That's why they say Brahma with Brahmaiva Bhavati. Knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Brahma with Brahmaiva Bhavati. He always was there, is there. I always am that. And it is said very beautifully. They say, don't say Aham Brahmasmi. This is much better. Soham Asmi. That I am, that am I. Because when I say I am that, then there is still a little I. So you say that I am. Soham Asmi. That I am, that alone is. I actually have no existence, and I have to merge my ego in that total ego. That is meditation. What is meditation? That the individuality no longer exists. That alone is. And that can only happen with God's grace. That's why Gurudev says that you can go up to Savikalpa Samadhi, where I become as close to possible, but still there is a slight difference. The meditator meditated and meditating, that is there, that triputi is there. But in this silence, ultimately there is a complete merger where there is no meditator, no meditating, that meditated alone exists. So that is the essence of this meditation. And why does the word Surya used? So they say very beautifully, Swi Karnat iti Surya, that which gathers to itself. What does the Surya gather? It gathers its rays, right? At night, it gathers its rays, and then it becomes darkness. Then it gathers the pranas, because throughout the day we have worked so much, worked so hard. and then it gathers the pranas, and our pranas become softer, gentler, and then we can sleep. Also, it gathers water, and it gathers the water, makes clouds, and creates rain. And then what does it do with the pranas it gathers? It puts them back into the plants. Gama Vish, in the 15th chapter, Gama Vishya cha Bhutani. So what I do, I enter into the earth and I nourish the plants, and dharayami and pushnami chaushadi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. So I am the one that I nourish the plants and I nourish all the herbs. So this is the tejas of the Supreme Lord. And you and I are not able to see it because our eyes are blinded. And the story of Narasimha Avatar, everybody knows, where Prahlad prayed and he appeared, and his rupa was so powerful that it was the whole universe was trembling with that power. And they told Lakshmi ji, can you go and calm him down? She said, no, I have not seen this form. I only know Shantakaram Bhujaga Shainam Padmanabham Suresham. I have never seen this lion form, so I'm not going anywhere near. So then they send Prahlad and Prahlad, of course, bows down and then humbly requests God, and there is a very beautiful prayer. So the point is that this power of the Lord is so immense that only His grace, and that is what they say, from Savikalpa to Nirvikalpa, the Lord's grace is required, where He takes you within. And you merge in that. The example they give is sleep, right? If I say, at 10 o'clock today, I'll be fast asleep, I can't say that, right? What I do is I work hard throughout the day, get myself tired, and then darken the room, lie down, put a sheet over myself, and then I slowly merge into sleep, right? The sleeper and the sleep merges. If you go ask a person, are you sleeping? And if he says, I am sleeping, that means he's not sleeping. So there is no sleeper. The sleeper merges. Similarly, when I want to see the Lord, I do Bahiranga sadhana and Antarang sadhana. What is Bahirang sadhana? Just as Bahirang is working hard, so Bahirang sadhana is do karma yoga, do puja, do japa, do chanting, all those things are Bahiranga and they are required. And then what is Antaranga sadhana? Shravana, Manana, Nidhi Dhyasana. Having heard from the teacher, I then abide in the truth, and then I merge into God. Then my will goes away, and then even the seeker is not there. That is the understanding, and such a person sees God in everything. Then there is a beautiful upasana which is mentioned in connection with this shloka. It is called Aham Griho Upasana, where what you do is when you worship the Lord, you take a form, right? Pratika or a pratima. Pratima means a form, whether it is Bhagavan Sri Krishna or Lord Shiva or Vishnu or whoever it is, Mother Saraswati, that is the pratima. Or you take a pratik. Pratik means a symbol like Shiva Linga or a cross, for Christians, or what is for Shaligrama for Vishnu. So these are the symbols. But suppose you are flying in the plane, right? And you are going to India and it is your puja time. And you cannot take out a shivaling there or, take a picture. It looks. So what you do is you make the body the linga. You say, oh Bhagavan, you are already everywhere and you are also in this. So please appear in this body. So that is called Aham Griho Upasana. And then you do your full prayers, whatever you need to do, but you don't need a symbol because God is in me. God is me. I am that. So here from Dvaita, you go to Advaita. From one is you worship God as Surya, other one is that I am. So this is this beautiful mantra. So the 15th and 16th have to be studied together. Lata, you want to chant the 17th?
Okay.
Ayur nilam amritam athedam
Vayurnilamamutram mathedam
Basmantagam Shariram.
Bhasmantagam Shariram
Om Krito Smara Kritagam Smara.
Om Krito Smara Kritagam Smara
Krito Smara Kritagam Smara.
Krito Smara Kritagam Smara.
Together, you can please mute. Vayurnilamamritam mathedam Basmantagam Shariram. Om Krito Smara Kritagam Smara. Krito Smara Kritagam Smara. The commentary I heard, he sings it, so I thought I'll try my hand at singing. Usually I don't sing, but anyway. So this Vayu we all know means the god of the wind, the Vayu Devta. Anilam means, Anilam has many meanings. Gurudev once says that that which is not in a house. That is, means Vayu cannot be contained in a house. Also, Anilam means the total pranas, the universal pranas, that which is the entire universe. Vayu also can be within me, the air is, and outside. Anilam. Amritam. Amritam means this total prana compared to our life is relatively immortal, right? Of course, again, the pranas were created by Brahman, but it is the supreme consciousness who has manifested as this total prana. And this idam, atha idam bhasmantagam shariram, may atham idam shariram, this body, bhasmantagam, may it burn. So may my pranas merge with the total pranas, may my body burn. When is this prayer chanted? When the enlightened master is ready to give up the body. And he says, I am done. My work is done. And cheerfully he gives up the body. He says, let my pranas merge with the total pranas. Let my body be burnt. And what is else I should do with my mind? O Krita, O mind, Om, Smara, remember, Kritagam Smara, remember what you have done. Krato Smara, Kritagam Smara, O mind, remember what you have done. And Gurudev says, remember what you have done. It's not that you remember your son or your daughter or your money, or remember that final experience of enlightenment that you had in this body, and keep that in mind. That means remember God, and remember that it should be the one thing we should leave this body with. That's why this Upanishad not only shows how to live, but how to die. What is the way to die? That may my pranas merge with, which is going to happen anyway, right? The body will be burnt or will be buried, but it will be merged with that. My body will merge with the elements, my breath will merge, but cheerfully one should go, remembering this final experience of enlightenment. So here, this total prana also represents Hiranyagarbha, the total mind, because the pranas represent the total mind. And at the when this body is cremated, see, normally if you even if the stove is hot or the pot, you don't want to touch it, right? Because it'll burn. But imagine, they're putting that in 1000 degrees heat, especially here, where the oven is like 1000 degrees. They just close the door and half an hour later it's ashes, and they give you in a packet, okay, here's your uncle, that's all is left of you. and that you can just disperse in the water, because majority is water anyway, and space, 75% is water, there is space. Actually, solid material is very little. So the point is that's what he says, let my body be burnt, it doesn't matter, but let me remember. Also, this prayer is to Mother Nature, an expression of gratitude. Oh, Mother, you have given me this body, right? This body is made of 5 elements, air, space, fire, water, earth, and nature has given. And Mother, I cheerfully return it back to you. thank you for giving me this human body, because it is only in this human birth that one can reach God, one can reach enlightenment. You cannot even do it in Swarga. Even the gods in Swarga want to take human birth so that they can reach enlightenment. Even Indra had to spend 99 years with his guru, and he sat and studied. So the point is, this is a wonderful opportunity. And what it says is that this great experience can only come with regular practice and sadhanas. So one should be very regular in the practice, be very regular in the sadhanas. Then this final experience can be very pleasant. You know, these people who are enlightened, for them to drop the body is nothing, because it's like changing clothes. I had told the story of that yogi who she just sat and gave up her body and just merged, and then the body just fell. So that's what they say. And what he's saying is that let my destination be, one is, of course, it can be Jivan Mukti, or it can be Brahma Loka, that may I go to Brahma Loka and may I then become one with you. That's what Bhishma had done. Bhishma had gone into meditation, lying on the bed of arrows, and put his body as completely merged, and then he gave up his body. That's why he had what you call mrityu, ichha mrityu. He could choose his time of death. He chose the northern whole solstice, January 14th. That's when he gave up his body. So this prayer is also to Agni God, which the next shloka is also. But here, what I'm asking Agni, the god of fire, that please take my prayers to the gods. That's why when you offer to the fire, you say Indraya, what is that? Indraya Swaha, na idam mama, and then Varunaya Swaha, na idam mama means, oh, fire god, please take my prayers to Indra, take it to Varuna, na idam mama, and nothing belongs to me. Even this body doesn't belong to me. Everything belongs to Bhagwan. So Agni is the courier, and courier here takes 24 hours, but there, the moment you offer the prayer in the fire, it directly reaches instantly to where if it's Surya Devta, it goes to Surya Devta, Varuna Devta, Shiva, wherever you want to send your prayers. That's what they say. So Agni Bhagwan is the courier, but Agni Bhagwan is also a manifestation of that same Brahman, of that same divinity. It's not only a courier, but it is God himself manifesting in the Agni Devta, and that will do the next shloka. Kusum, do you want to chant? So this is a prayer to Agni God. So this Upanishad ends with that. Agne Naya Supatharai Asman.
Agne Naya Supatharai Asman.
Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan.
Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan.
Yuyodhyasmajjuharana meno.
Yuhyodhyasamajjurana meno.
Bhuyishtham te nama uktim vidhema.
Bhuyishtam te nama uktim videma.
Thank you. You can please mute together. Agne Naya Supatharai Asman. Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan. Yuyodhyasmajjuharana meno. Bhuishtham te nama uktim vidhema. So Agni, it is the 8th case. O Agni Bhagwan, O Lord Fire. Naya. Agni means that which leads from the front. Agre Nayati, that which leads us, which takes us. So where do you want Agni to take you? Naya means please take you, O Bhagwan, please take me. Where? Supatha, take me to the path of goodness. Goodness. May I be to the good path. That means to Brahma Loka. And take me to the wealth. Rae. Wealth, again, Gurudev says, does not mean dollars and pounds and rupees, but the spiritual wealth. Asman means to all of us. So, O Agni Devta, please take all of us to that highest spiritual wealth of the path of goodness, Supatha. And why am I asking Agni Devta? Because you are, oh Lord Deva, you are Vidwan, you are all knowing. And what do you know? Vishwani Vayunani. You know all the ways of this world. You not only know everything outside, you also know my mind, because God is, that's what they say, Antaryami. God is constantly inside, and so he knows everything outside and knows everything inside. So Bhagwan, he says, oh, Agni Devta, you are the Vidwan, you are the knower of everything. And only you can take me to this highest goal. But then he makes another humble request. Yuyodhya means remove what? Asma, from us. Asman, Juhurana. Juhurana means all the evil tendencies and Enaha, sins. So my sins and my evil tendencies, only you can burn. Only you can remove. Why? Because Bhuishtham, you are the best. Or Bhuishtham means also my best nama, my best prayers I offer to you, who is the Supreme. Uktim, Nama Uktim means prayer vidhemaha, we offer. So this is a prayer from us. It is in the plural way. So, O Agni Devta, please lead us to the highest wealth, through the best path. And you know my mind and the outside, but if there are any negatives I have done, you burn them. You can delete, like in the computer, some email you don't like, you press what Control Alt Delete. So Agni Devta, you are the one who can even burn my negativities, even burn my sins, because you are the best. So this is a prayer to the Agni Devta. So we will be doing in more detail in the next Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad. We'll talk about the northern path and the path of Surya and the path of Agni will be covered in more detail. But briefly, Agni is the northern, the Uttarayana, which takes us to Brahma Loka. The southern path, if you take, then you come back. That is the path of the moon. This represents the path of the sun, which is bright. And as we said, it is the spiritual wealth that I am seeking. And if this person has met all the qualifications, then Agni welcomes him. Like if you go to a theater, and you say you have bought an ordinary 10 rupee or 20 rupee ticket. They say, oh, go and sit anywhere, find your seat, right? Find an empty seat and sit. But suppose you have bought 1,000 rupee ticket, or 500. They say, this way, sir, you please come. You come and sit in the first row because you have qualified. So similarly, there are ordinary seekers who say it's okay. Or if you have done all this special upasana and this knowledge, then Agni says, this way, sir, you come, I will take you to the front. I will take you to the best. And it says that one should live the life very carefully. How do you qualify? So Bhagavan says in the 18th chapter, Yajna Jnana Tapa Karma Na Tyajam Karyam Eva Tat. Why? Pavanani Manishinam. Yajna Danam Tapaschaiva Pavanani Manishinam. So a seeker should always do these three: Yajna, Dana, and Tapa. Yajna means sacrifice, offerings. Dana is charity. Yajna means offering in the fire, and Tapa means austerity. So living a life of self-control, doing charity, and doing all the rituals. One should live a very careful life. Then only one can qualify. That is the 1,000 rupee ticket, that if you have done all those, lived a life carefully, then you can ask, oh Agni, you are Sarvagnya, you are all knowing, and I am Alpagnya. I know very little. So you are all knowing, and these salutations, prostrations are to you, Agni Devta, because it's only through you I can know that. So this is an attitude of surrender, an attitude of humility, where I am prostrating to the Agni Devta, remove all my negativities and lead me to this highest path because you are the best. See, Agni represents the highest truth, the highest Brahman that is appeared in the manifest form. That's why they say that is the first of the 5 elements that you can actually see. So Agni we worship, and in the olden days they didn't have forms of Rama, Krishna, Shiva, that they came in the Puranas. In the Vedas, they were only Agni, Varuna, Vayu, and so on. So Agni was worshipped. And also in Rig Veda, Agni Devta is worshipped the most in Rig Veda. That is the oldest Veda. So Agni is the original God. So this is here. So today we'll end this Upanishad with humble salutations to Puja Gurudev. Because of his commentary and all his teachings from his other students, we were able to study this Upanishad. And also our humble prostrations to Shankaracharya ji, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, because all our acharyas have studied from bhashyas written by Shankaracharya ji, his bhashya. Because his bhashya on the major 11 Upanishads is what all our, so that's why they say Shankara Guru, Shankara Guru, Shankara Bhagavad Pada, Shankara Guru. So we offer our humble prostrations to Puja Gurudev and Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, and of course, Yajnavalkya Rishi who revealed to us, and ultimately to the Supreme Brahman, that may all we, through this path of the Upanishads, reach the highest goal, the highest truth. So I'd like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity.
They always chant.
Yeah, we can chant the first one, but if anybody has any comments, or we can chant the first one.
First one chant and then we can.
Okay. Om Isavasya Idagam Sarvam Yatkinchit Jagatyan Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjithaha Magrida Kasya Swedhanam. So let this whole universe be pervaded by Ishavasya Midagam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatyan Jagat. Whatever you see, moving and unmoving, is that, but give up the name and form. Tena Tyaktena Bhunjithaha. If you want to enjoy the truth, you have to give up name and form and focus on the essence, and then do not covet, do not have greed, have the willingness to give. So this is this entire Upanishad. Next week we'll go over each mantra in a little detail and cover that. And then if anybody has questions, please write them down on this Upanishad or any other topics, and we can cover them next week. So anybody has any questions, any comments? We have some time. We have about 5 minutes. Yeah, Lata,
I guess I'd like to make one quick comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just, we we're reading Bhagavad, and last week, I think it was verse 20, it was talking about the sun, and the metaphor, the Drishtanta, was that the Atman, the consciousness, and is like in charge. Well, it makes all the mind and all the senses, it makes them all work, just as the sun makes everything work.
Yes.
Humans, the whole world, the whole universe, well, maybe not the whole universe, but at least the whole world work.
Right.
And,
Thank you.
I was thinking about that.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, I missed last week Atma Bodh, but that's good. You brought it up. Thank you.
28th February, what did you say?
We are doing Mahashivratri at the mission at 6 p.m. So you can ride with somebody or you can attend on Zoom, either way. If you'd like to ride, maybe talk to Hansaben or, Shaku or anybody who is going, Saroj.
Yeah.
Okay, Lata,
Or if it is on Zoom, would be better.
It will be on Zoom, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lata, you have question? No?
Yeah, there are the terms you discussed, I know, but I kind of want to understand. Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi.
Yeah, okay. So Savikalpa is the closest I can get to the truth, where I am meditating on Brahman, on that, and I am very close. where it is the closest I can get. But still there is the faint thought, savikalpa, that there is still some thought, meditator, meditating, and meditated. That is there, but it's a very minimal. There is a very minimum. I have almost got there. It's like that in that story, how he's almost there. That just
Right.
the door has to open. And the nirvikalpa is that when that complete merger happens, where then no longer there is a meditator. Again, does not mean his body merges, but his ego merges, his thoughts become one, his mind becomes one. Then there is no difference between that and me. Soham asmi. That is nirvikalpa. And as Gurudev says, having gone into nirvikalpa samadhi, when the Mahatma comes out, then this is what he will say, that I am that, Soham asmi. In that meditation, even that to say, even he's not there. I am that, or that I am, is his understanding after he has come out of nirvikalpa samadhi. So it is that only the consciousness can draw us in. We just go and humbly wait, like that person did, just waited patiently with intense longing. And then ultimately he will understand that there is no door. There never was. Even right now, I am Brahman. But I may say that, we have been saying for 30 years since we're going, but to say that and to actually know it as my own experience and to abide in that, that is called aparoksha anubhuti, under experiencing as me, myself. And so that is the final step to be done. But that I cannot do. That's why they call it the dark night of the soul. One famous Western saint, she called it the dark night of the soul, that when the soul becomes not disheartened, but becomes so sorrowful that I cannot do it myself. I need you, God. You do it. Then, so that it's a complete surrender. And then when after the dark night of the soul, the sun rises.
God is
The sun rises.
God is you are not.
Right. The sun of knowledge rises. As we said, God alone is, I am nothing, I am not.
Maybe you can, when next week, when you are summarizing, you can say, but how then, once you have reached that state that you want to function in the world, how one does that then?
Well, you will become a much better functioner. You think Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda didn't function in the world?
He
wants to
did.
function 1,000 times better than you and me, because you
you
become an instrument of God. You don't become useless. You become more useful, because then God works through you. Right now, you and I, when we are working as this limited ego.
Very true.
But when you become an instrument of God, then there is no you. Then God alone is. So actually, that is the person is actually
working for happiness. They work out of happiness.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
You had
because
mentioned these sentences before, right?
Because
We need repeated reminders, Anil and Niru.
because they express this truth. See, the truth comes out. You can see it in that individual. You don't have to go and see God anywhere. You see it.
Just see in the Guru Swami Chinmaya.
There is no difference.
Thank you.
Guru and the God.
That's why Mirabai also, you look at her, she never thought of herself as separate from Bhagwan Sri Krishna. She always saw all of these great Mahatmas. Ramakrishna Paramhans, he saw himself as the mother goddess. Or in the case of Vedantin, they understand I am that. That's what Swami Vivekananda or Puja Gurudev or Shankaracharya ji. That is the path of knowledge and the path of bhakti. But they both have to be combined. Anything else? Yeah, Kusum.
I don't have any comments, but I would request, or maybe I could humbly say that Gurudev has written a handwritten note, a letter on the first page of this Upanishad. And also the first 50 pages are worth reading as much as the whole Upanishad. So if you have time, I really would be, it will be very beneficial to all of us. And also the other thing I want to say that I want to pray to Lord Sun every day morning. And tomorrow when I pray, I'm going to say, lift us all together and just take us to his abode. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your
Yeah.
prayer will be stronger.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah, no, the first
No.
60 pages, Puja Gurudev has done a very beautiful introduction. So please read that if you haven't read it. I did summarize it in my first talk on this, but please read it because I just did in 45 minutes, this whole 60 pages. We don't have that letter, not all the.
His letter is very beautiful, very beautiful. Just as
Oh
says
yeah,
here.
here it is. Okay, Shivoham. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it is
Shivoham.
here. So please read it. It is on the first page. Okay, thank you. We'll do the closing prayer and then next week I'll try to summarize this Upanishad. Anybody has any more comments? No? Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anil,
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could ask you a quick Sanskrit question. This is Carrie.
Okay, go ahead. And Kutum, I need to talk to you for a second. Is she gone? Oh, she's
Yeah,
gone.
we'll call.
We'll call her. Okay, go ahead, Mary.
You know, one of the very few things that I learned in that weekend with Sanskritam Bharati was that you said asti, health is of me is health. And I was wondering, you know, the sentence that
Actually, you're cutting out. I can't hear you properly. Why don't you call me? Or I can't hear you. Your mic is not very good. What is the sentence?
the sentence
No,
is
it's falling.
that monkey is thirsty.
That monkey is thirsty.
And
Oh,
I'm wondering,
monkey is
I'm
thirsty.
wondering if
The
it's
thirsty, you can Google it. You can Google.
Pipasika.
Vipasika.
Pipasika.
Is it kind of like, you know, Spanish is that way too, where you say yo tengo sed, or you know, well, it's just different. It's you know, it's
Yeah,
kind of.
Pipasikaha asti. Pipasika asti. He is
So
thirsty.
do you say
Saha Pipasika.
thirst is of the monkey?
I don't know. There are different ways you can express it. You can try it. I don't know if thirst is of the monkey. I'm not sure.
It's like health is of me. When I say I'm feeling well, you say health is of me. So you mama kushalam asti.
Yeah, you can. Maybe you could say. I don't know.
Pipasita asti. Savanara.
Savanaraha pipasitaha asti. That is how it is given in the book.
Okay.
Savanaraha pipasitaha asti. Pipasitaha means thirsty.
Okay. So thirst is the subject then.
Yeah, you can look it up. I don't know. I have
Okay.
not seen that.
I don't know. I just
I
remember.
don't think I have not heard it saying that mine is the thirst. I don't remember seeing that, but maybe it might be there.
Okay.
All right.
I'll Google it too. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Hari Om.
Adios.